What is up, fam, and welcome back to Hatchet Reviews, and today is going to be a review on Dark Lotus Black Rain. This was the second full-length album to come from Dark Lotus, if you don't include the fact that the Tales from the Lotus Pod album came out twice, once with Mars, once with ABK. So this is the continuation of the Dark Lotus albums with ABK, and the only album to have, the only other album rather, to have all 6 members. And then after this, ABK, I think he left Psychopathic for a while after this, and then when he came back, they didn't re-add him in. He did appear, however, as a special guest on the Mud, Water, Air, and Blood, but outside of that, after this album, they stuck with just the 5, Twisted Blades and ICB. So anyway, there's your front. Nothing really going on there with the spine. There's one side. Flip it over to the other. Much of the same. There's your back. Now, unlike the previous album where there was no track listing, this one has the track listing smacked on the CD. Thank God. Because I know with Tales from the Lotus Pod, it did not have a track list. Let me move that up real quick here. Well, I get this unfolded as much as I can anyway. Bear with me, one-handed. So there's one side, and then you flip it over, and there was the other side with all these holographics. Yeah, that's the word. Close this up. Set that to the side for the moment. And there's the CD itself. And then behind the CD, just a Lotus Cross with some lightning. And then your track list for this album includes Under the Lotus, Black Rain, Kaboom, That's Me, Consume Your Soul, She Was, Corrosion, My First Time, With the Lotus, Hell House, Jump Off. I believe that says The Walls. The font is really hard to see with some of these. Doornail Dorothy, Pass the Axe, and Death Don't Want You. So that's the track list. Now, as far as tracks off of this album that I think are good tracks, Black Rain, Kaboom, She Was, Pass the Axe, obviously, Doornail Dorothy, and Death Don't Want You. The album's not a bad album in its entirety. As a whole album, it's a really good album. Those are just the tracks that I believe are like some of the best tracks on here. Pass the Axe probably being the most common one that everybody like goes to off of this album. It was definitely one of the most popular Dark Lotus songs, was Pass the Axe. After, of course, Juggalo Family, and what was the other one off the Tales from the Lotus Pod? That was Bitch I'm Sexy. Say what you will of me, I will always have Juggalo Family forever. Anyway, so yeah. So that was definitely, like, probably the most popular song off of this album was Pass the Axe. Definitely a good song. Not saying it's not. So the album as a whole is a really good album. I do not feel it's better than Tales from the Lotus Pod, though. But it is definitely still a solid Dark Lotus album. Not saying that it's a bad album, because it's definitely not. Just, I thought Tales from the Lotus Pod was just a tad bit better. Preferably the version with Mars, not ABK. I was not a fan of the ABK version of Tales from the Lotus Pod. I thought that it was extremely dumb that they just did a person swap and then replaced all Mars's lyrics with ABK lyrics, and it was essentially the same album just with ABK spitting some different bars instead of Mars. Anyway, so that is Dark Lotus, The Black Rain, and as always, I will see you all in the next video. Peace, fam.